Hi everyone. So most probably you would have all heard the news about Gen AI by now. And ever since that news came up, there's a surge of panic amongst the mind of freshers. People are thinking, how can we compete with AI? And what will happen to the jobs? Whether we should even learn development now or not? Whether coding is doomed as a field? And more on that, the fact that hiring is going less and less, and it feels like it's impossible to get a job right now. So these kind of things are plaguing the mind of a fresher. And what I'm going to talk about in this video is how to get ahead of the AI race. There's a huge competition right now, and what you can do to get ahead of the competition. So we're going to talk about in two parts. We're going to see if you're a fresher, how can you get a job soon as possible and start climbing up the hierarchy, or if you're already working, then how can you make your job more secure so you don't end up getting replaced by the AI. So we're going to talk about both of these things in today's video. But before I even start, I want to again make clear one thing, and I even said this before in my previous video about Devin AI, is that Devin is not a new language model. Okay, it's working on the pre-existing model, so it's not a new breakthrough. And without a new model, obviously we cannot say what the future holds. But without a new model based on the pre-existing models, what we already have, it's not possible to have an entire company's entire branch being automated by AI. You do need software engineers present, you do need software developers to be present, because software engineering is more than just writing code. Let's take an example. Let's say that there's a feature in production for a company and the feature goes down, something goes wrong. And if you have human software developers, you know who was on call, you know who was responsible, and you know who is responsible, what went wrong, so you know the quickest way to resolve it. But imagine a company where the entire branch, the entire software division is being automated by AI. So who are you going to blame? How will you find what went wrong? So it might have such issues. So for now, the scenario is that you do need software developers working side by side along with the AI. But the main thing is that you get into a company, you start learning, you start growing in your career so that it's less chance for you to get replaced by AI. So now let's see how you can do that if you're a fresher or even if you're a working person. Let's see that now. So like I said, we're going to talk about this in both scenarios. Let's say that you're someone who's already working. Okay, let's say you're someone who's already working, and then let's say that you're someone who's a fresher and you want to get a job, you are looking for a job but you're unable to find a job. And if you're working, then how do you make yourself irreplaceable or more valuable? How can you start climbing up the hierarchy ASAP? Let's talk about both of that. So let's talk about the working scenario first quickly, and then we'll move to the crux of the issue, which is how to deal with this as a fresher, how to beat the AI race as a fresher. So let's first talk about the working thing. Okay, so imagine you're already working in a company, you're working in ABC tech stack, either front end, back end, app dev, whatever it is. Let's say that this is the company. Let's say this is the company. This is the higher most level. This is the uppermost management. Okay, next to that, you'll have the second level of management where you have your managers, you have your senior managers, you have your directors, these things. And then after that, you have, let's say, your team lead. Okay, your tech lead, your team lead, whatever you may call it. After that, you have software engineers, senior software engineers. Let's say that these are senior software engineers working under the tech lead. And in the same team, what you'll have is you'll have some freshers, okay, who will be working under this. So this is the flow right now. Okay, the flow comes from the top to bottom. Let me put it in line so that it's better for you to understand. So this is the flow right now. Okay, the flow comes right here all the way down to the fresher. Now if you're a fresher, you have less responsibility. The more senior you become, the more responsibility you get. If you're a fresher, no one will leave you in charge of an entire let's say feature or an entire database or an entire division, right? When you're a fresher, you have less opportunities. Okay, whatever it is, suppose you're working on front end, back end, web dev, Android, whatever it is, you're at the base level. You're at the, like, you're at the leaf node, basically you're at the leaf level, the bottommost level you're at right now. Okay, and it's fine, it's a starting point, everyone starts at some point. But the thing is, how can you quickly climb up the ladder of hierarchy? Because this is the thing, and you have to understand, the senior you are, the more irreplaceable you get, because the senior people have more responsibility on their plate, they have a lot of things to look out for. And the freshers, like I said, have less responsibility. So how can you start climbing up the hierarchy? So the first thing that you have to do is you have to learn how to do your job properly. Let's say if you're a web developer, let's say you're a front end developer, then do you know React properly? Do you know how your company's front end is working properly? Do you know the latest features that are there in the tech stack? And are you continuously learning? See, the issue that happens, right? The main issue, I'll tell you what happens. We come to a company and we stop learning. We feel like, okay, we'll just do the work that has been given to us and that's it. But it does not stop there. You have to continuously learn. Now, if you learn and you go to your manager, you say, okay, I've learned these things, I want to grow in my career, what should I do? And then you go on from there. You get to the senior position, then you say, okay, there's this project, I feel like I know everything about it and I want to lead the project. So like this, you can go up to the hierarchy. You can become on management level, up that, either professionally, politically, whatever it takes, you climb up the hierarchy. Okay, this is how you will grow as a working professional. And let's say that you're in a company where a lot of people say ki, in my company there's no scope of growing, there's no scope of learning, then you can look for a switch also. Okay, you can look for a switch. You can go to a company where you'll have more growth in your career so that you can start climbing the hierarchy ladder ASAP. Okay, so this is about the working. Now let's come to the freshers level. Okay, how in the how as a fresher you can come to a position where you're in the top, let's say 5%, top 1% of software engineers, so that you can get a good job in your dream company. Now, the main thing you have to understand is that hiring is still going on. You'll see a lot of people who are still getting hired even in off campus opportunities. It's not like the hiring is totally freeze. The hiring is still going on. However, the main thing is that the competition is too high. Okay, the main issue that a fresher faces is the competition. The reason for the competition is that some of the 2022 graduates also without a job, some of 2023 graduates also without a job, and obviously 2024 graduates also looking for a job. So there's a huge imbalance in the hiring part. There's a huge imbalance. There's a huge crowd of people who are looking to get placed. And like I said, you want to get ahead of that crowd. That's your motivation right now. That's what you need to do right now. Now, before I tell you what to do, I want to talk about something, and this is a mentality. I want you to change this mentality about yourself. You know, the mentality that you have, and especially this is a mentality for Indian people. What we do is we hype up everything. We see everything as an exam. When we're in school, then our parents say ki you have to score well in this maths exam, this science exam, whatever it is. Then we come to 10th, and people say 10th is a very important exam, you have to score well. Then comes 12th, again the same thing. People say boards is the most important exam, you have to do well in that. Then comes JEE mains to crack a good college. So we see in life everything as an exam. But becoming a software developer is not an exam. Okay, this is a phase. This is a phase that you go through. This is something that you become. It's not an exam that you can crack. Because when people want to crack exam, they somehow look for cheat codes, they somehow look for shortcuts, but there's no shortcut here. For becoming a software engineer, you have to actually learn the necessary skills. For example, let's say you're in front end. Okay, let's say you want to get a job in front end. Then do you have the necessary skills even as a fresher? Do you know the required skills? Do you know React.js properly? Do you know Vue.js properly? Do you know GitHub properly? Do you know all these things, or are you just stuck at the basic? Have you properly implemented all these things practically? Have you made the right projects, or have you just copy pasted from another course? These are the things that are important as a software developer. Okay, there's no shortcut. You cannot just take a course and copy paste the project from the course, because this is what the interviewer will judge you on. This is what the company needs. Right now, what the company needs is they need a fresher who already has work experience. Now, how will you get work experience if you don't even have a job? By building projects, by either doing internships, or most probably just by building some real good projects. See, to get ahead of the competition, you have to do something which the competition is not doing. So that is one thing that you can do by making some project which is, let's say, unique. Okay, not copy paste it from anywhere. You can do this by learning the latest skill. Okay, if there's a new feature available in the tech stack that you're working on, have you used it? Have you learned it properly? You have to learn the latest skill. You have to make sure that you have a unique project. You have to make sure that you have a unique portfolio. If you're wanting to target the FANG companies, are your problem solving skills on par, or are you just doing a DSA sheet for the sake of it, or are you actually learning problem solving? So these are the things that you have to do in order to get ahead of the curve. And the main thing, like I said, you cannot treat this as an exam. You really need to have an interest in this. You need to have the interest in this. Okay, interest is the keyword. You cannot Lot of people think कि, okay, let's do software engineering, we'll get 40 to 50 LPA. If you're doing it just for the money, then it will be impossible for you to get a job given the job market right now. You need to have an interest in what you're doing. You need to have learned the skills properly in what you're doing. Okay, so you need to have good projects. You need to have the unique projects, not copy pasted stuff. You need to have the latest skills. You need to spend your time actually learning these things. And again, if you want to target the FANG company, this is mostly for FANG kind of companies, then you need to have good problem solving skills. These are the things that you need to do. Once you get into the job, then you can just do what I previously mentioned and start working up the hierarchy. Now, one important thing which a lot of people one more important thing is that majority of the people are spending their time being worried right now. Everyone is thinking, oh, Devin AI, people are watching 5 videos with Devin AI, people are just scrolling on Instagram reels, seeing what is there. People are wasting their time on YouTube shorts, wasting their time on YouTube, watching their favorite tech influencer. But are you really... Now, one more thing is that majority of the people are wasting their time just getting scared of the future and not using that time properly. You have to ask yourself, if you're scared of the future, if you're scared of being unable to get a job, you have to ask yourself, are you really job ready? Are you really doing everything in your power to be able to get a job? Or are you just wasting your time in YouTube shorts, in scrolling Instagram reels? Or are you actually learning the skills required? Are you actually indulging yourself in the projects that you make? Or are you just having say overview knowledge of everything and claiming that you should get a job and you're unable to get a job? So you have to stop getting worried about the future. You have to start focusing on the things that are important. Okay, and how to do that, there's a lot of roadmaps available, but I myself will be making a few videos about how to learn things in front end, back end, app development, data science, many more things. I'll be making videos about that, so you can stay tuned for that. But do remember, if you do the right things, if you have the right knowledge, if you have the right projects, then you'll be able to crack the interview, right? Whatever the interview is, whatever your dream company is, you'll be able to crack the interview. Once you crack the interview, you'll be able to become a part of the corporate world or the tech world, and then you can progress in your career from that. So this is more or less from the fresher level going to the working phase and going your way up there. And the reason why the job market is becoming so bad right now in today's date is because companies are expecting freshers to have work experience. Earlier people didn't care. Earlier people thought, okay, we will train you, we have a lot of time. But now companies don't have time. They want a fresher who already has work experience, which is why it's important to have the latest skill, to have the necessary skills, and to have a proper practical implementation knowledge of these things, which obviously come via making good projects. So that is something you should definitely look into on priority. So if you do all of this, then I can assure you, you will get a good job as a software engineer and you can grow in your career. It might not seem very easy right now, and it's not easy, it is difficult, but you have to persevere. You have to learn the things, you have to do what is required, and you have to be dedicated towards it. You have to be passionate about it, you have to be interested in it. You cannot do this half-heartedly, not now. Earlier it might have been possible that you learned a few things and you got a job. It's not possible right now. You have to be passionate about it, you have to be dedicated about it. So just do this, follow what I said, learn the necessary skills. If you want the guidance of how to do, you'll be getting that on my channel, but you have to do the work, you have to put in the work. So that's pretty much it. If you have any doubts, then feel free to leave in the comments. I'll be sure to answer. And like I said, I'll be making a lot of videos about how to crack into the field of front end, back end, app development, data science, data analytics, all these things. So stay tuned for that. So that's all. Thank you.